And here it is, the final coding challenge about object-oriented programming. And in this challenge, the goal is to recreate the challenge number 3, but this time using ES6 classes. So basically what you should do is to create a class, EV, so electric vehicle, which is going to be a child class of the car class that we already created before as well. Then in that EV class, make the charge property private. So that's number 2. And then point number 3 is that I want you to implement the ability to chain the accelerate and the charge battery methods on this class. And the same also for the brake method in the car class. So that's actually called car CL. So then go ahead and experiment with chaining, and all of that should be done using this test data down here. All right. So I already have the code here, and so this makes it a bit easier to understand what the goal is. So as I mentioned, we already have the car class from before, and so this one is basically going to stay the same, except for the brake method, which I want you to make chainable. And then here we have the EV already, as we implemented it previously using constructor functions. And so the big goal of this challenge is basically to convert all of this into a child class of the car class. All right. So let's do this. So class EV CL, and now this should be a child class, and so we use the extends keyword. So this extends the car CL class. And now let's put this curly brace actually down here, because all we need to do is to now modify this a little bit. So here we can transform this here into the constructor. So the constructor method, and we still need the make, speed, and charge, of course. Now here we don't need to call the car, but instead we call super, remember? And we do that, of course, without the this keyword, because all of this will automatically happen behind the scenes. Okay, so if I save this now, we get this error, but that's because we still have a lot of stuff to change down here. Next, here is linking of the prototypes, and none of this is necessary with classes, because all of this simply happens automatically behind the scenes. We also don't need to set anything manually on the prototype properties. So let's get rid of this. And in here also, we don't need the function keyword. And so with this, I think for now, we should be good to go. So let's now create an object called Rivian, which is going at 120 with a charge of 23%. So Rivian, which is another electric vehicle brand. So EVCL Rivian 120 and 23% of charge. Let's check it out here. And yep, there it is. Great. So next up, the task is to make the charge private. So let's do that. So this is the car. So here we don't have the charge in the parent class, but we do have it here in the child class. Now we receive this charge actually as an input here. And so we still need to define all the fields outside of any method. So we do that up here, and that is true for both private and public fields. So in this case, we want a private field, and that's called charge. And then we don't give it any value, and here we simply reassign that. And then all we have to do is to change it everywhere. So that's here and here and here. Give it a save. If we now check this, then indeed, here it is. and we didn't get any error. But indeed, as we try to now access this property outside, then that is not going to work. So it is now truly private and it is encapsulated inside of the class. So from outside, there's no way of changing it, except of course by charging the battery or by accelerating. And so once again, this method here is basically a public API so that we can manipulate the charge property from the outside, but without being able to directly access the property from the outside. So next up, we want to implement a chaining on accelerate, charge battery, and break. So on break, we need to do it here. And so remember, all we have to do is to return this keyword, right? So that's very easy. Here the same, this. And again, we are doing this here basically on all the methods that actually set something. And so that's where this makes the most sense. Great. So now we are able to do something like this. So we can accelerate, and then we can accelerate again, and we can accelerate again maybe. Let's break for a change. Then let's charge the battery, let's say to 50%. And then let's accelerate some more. And so this is what the result is going to be looking like. So here we are accelerating 3 times, then we are braking down by 5 kilometers per hour, and then immediately we add 20 kilometers per hour back again. And the charge then drops to 49, and that's because previously we had charged it to 50. And what's also interesting to see here is that our child class does also inherit the getters and setters from the parent class. So we can also do this. So remember, that is a setter and a getter that we defined previously. And so this is basically 195 kilometers per hour converted to miles per hour. Okay, and with that, this challenge is now completed. And I think we used all the things that we learned over the course of this section right here in all of these 4 challenges. So this should cover everything that you learned. And so by now, you actually already put everything that we learned about object-oriented programming into practice by yourself. So congratulations for that. That was a really great job and a great effort to watch this entire section until the end. And now it's time to make this even more exciting. And to do that, we will create an entire brand new project which will be completely based on objects in the next section. So that project is going to be one of the most exciting things of this course, in my opinion. So I hope to see you there soon once you finished basically digesting this section. So congratulations once again. I'm really happy to still have you with me here at this point of the course. And so I see you back here in the next section.